good. And I remember it was like Saturday before Crowdsourcing Week, and I see this 3D printer going crazy on Kickstarter, and it's from Singapore. I said, man, this is exciting. So you got to be here on stage. So I invited you, and you shared some great insights. How is it to be in this new highlight all of a sudden? And at the time when you were at stage, you were raising like $700,000 or more, right?
Right, yeah.
And you've gone all the way to $1.4 million. And then after that, you raised the money. Money was released to you. You got all the money. Now, what happened next? Can you just take us to that journey and then?
Right, okay. Is this on?
I think so, yeah.
It is. Hi, can everyone hear me at the back? Is that good? Okay, great. After we raised the 1.4 and we got the money, what we did was, first thing we did was actually increase manpower quite a lot. And we realized very early on that when you have large volumes, right, that success in a sense has its own demons that you need to fight. And we started, preparing for the product for mass manufacture. It was a little bit more complicated than we originally expected, because when you have to make 100, I can do it myself, it's easy. But when you go to like 2,000, 5,000, 10,000, you've got a lot of things like quality assurance, all that stuff that comes into play. And we have been doing that more or less, and right now we're in production. So that's, in short, how it is.
Great. Well, I mean, it's interesting because I read an article one time, and that article led me to another thing that said that the 70% of crowdfunded product that been successfully raised, they never show up on time. And I think this is always a great example. So a lot of times, you start probably and you don't know where the success is going to lead. And then when you just get overwhelmed with the success, then you have to really figure out, like choosing the right vendor, as you said, and all that stuff. And is it challenging for you to find a right vendor to produce your 3D printers, or?
Okay, I would say that, you break out the vendors in two parts, right? First, you got to find a good contract manufacturer. And then after that, you start sourcing for your suppliers. And finding the right ones can be a little bit difficult, because even though some are like certified, but unless you have extremely stringent quality checks on your side, let's say I order like 5,000 optical sensors. If I have no way to check the 5,000 and I know the yield percentage, then there's going to be issues later on down the line. So it's a lot of dice rolling. I mean, you mix with people in the industry and they can tell you, all right, these guys more or less kind of good. So you just roll with them, but you learn very early on that doesn't mean that other people say that they're good.
Yeah.
It means that they're good.
Did you ask the crowd that they funded your project to, like if they have any leads regarding to find the right vendor?
Yeah, I did actually.
Okay.
I asked them very often for a lot of things, but I think.
And how was the response?
Because most of them are actually like hackers.
Okay.
Or just normal everyday consumers. They have. It's a little bit tough for them to actually tell me where to go, because when we were on, the reason why I think big projects usually delay for a very long time, and one thing we don't realize is that, okay, let's say I make a product today. Okay, let's say everything is done, right? I've planned it to the finest detail, it's perfect, and there's nothing going to go wrong, which never happens. But let's say it does. From that day, it's going to take me a few weeks to find vendors. Okay, then 8 to 16 weeks to source for parts, the lead time to come in, 12 weeks for certification. If it passes, 8 weeks for manufacture, 1 month for logistics.
Wow.
So you just look at that, and that is just downtime. You don't do anything. You just sit down and you just wait there, because that's the way the world works.
Wow.
And you don't realize that.
And what about the crowd that they funded your project? Maybe they can help you with other things and with the product?
Oh yeah, the great thing that they help with is that, before you actually deliver, they actually tell you, and very good, like which logistics to use. And because they know their country best, so they'll tell you don't use these guys because they smash products. Use these ones, it's much easier. This is how you get through customs. Get the most interesting stories from people in like Mexico or like Brazil. They'll tell you, okay, this is how you do it. I mean, I can't say it here because if it's on camera, but they'll tell you, they'll give you interesting stories how to get your products in and easy, and it gets interesting. And also, I think one of the great things about how they can help you is that they're very willing to offer advice when they get the product. They're not like a consumer where, in a sense that if something comes in, like a coffee machine, it doesn't work, you're like, oh, why isn't my machine working? I mean, for them, being on a crowdfunding platform, they're more willing to help you. Like for our beta batch, I mean, it's been really great. I mean, there are some bugs, which was expected, but I don't think anywhere else in the world for any consumers you would find for people to actually get a product or want to get a product that's not complete and help you work through all the bugs so that other people can benefit. You're not going to find that like anywhere else.
Now, is there one very important thing that you would have done differently or put that in a pipeline before you raise the funds?
Something different. Okay. What I would have done differently is I would have actually, maybe two things. One, I would have spent more time on the product to make sure that whatever that we think that could be done on the small scale, whether it can be done on an extremely large scale. I mean, it sounds something so simple, but when you don't do it,
But just be prepared.
Yeah, just be prepared. And the second is that I would have really selected maybe 3 or 4 countries and be like, okay, we're just going to fulfill that. Because we thought, all right, fine, we're going to go global. But when you go global, you realize that when you say, let's certify this product, oh man, you have, I don't know, like every country has their own certifications.
Exactly.
And then, some countries, the Wi-Fi, you can't broadcast on certain signals and you're like, oh my God, why can't everyone just use the same stuff?
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah, one system.
Yeah. So that's what you go through.
Should we just open up for the public?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, good. So, anyone questions?
Yeah.
Thank you very much. What about wholesale? Because when you are selling on a crowdfunding platform, it's like you're retailing. Do you think about wholesale when you start a project?
Yeah, you do actually. Are you referring to like the retail prices? What is your question exactly? Like, what do you mean?
You said that you wish you had spent more time on production, kind of designing
That's right,
the
yeah.
process of production. Did you think about also the process of actually selling wholesale? Once you would be successful, what can you do to go further in terms of sales volumes?
Ah, right. Also, you mean whether we considered that? Yeah, we did actually. For us, when we started on the crowdfunding platform, we fully expected to move from a B2C to a more B2B to sell to distributors. So right now, I have to fulfill like about 3,000 Kickstarter orders in, I think, May, June. And then moving on from that, we have a lot of distributors sign up for us, in many places in the world, and they will carry on from there. Because one of the things that you don't want to do is handle 10,000 or 15,000 customers yourself. I mean, if you're an MNC, fine. But if you're a startup and you even have like 20 people, which is quite a lot for a startup, you imagine handling 16,000 customers, and that's just handling the 16,000 customers. You're not doing any work at all. You're just handling their issues, and they'll tell you, XYZ problem, this problem, that problem, and it gets hell. So what we plan for is to actually go via distributors and just leave it to them. The good thing is that if you make it on a crowdfunding platform, your validation is already there, and you have some marketing collateral or capital, as you call it, and most of the distributors actually approach you. Like for us, most of the distributors in a lot of countries, they actually approached us first rather than us hunting them down.
Well, you were at CES this year.
This year, yeah, that's right.
And did you showcase your product, or was it?
Oh yeah, we did. We showcased it. It was pretty good. I know I wanted to bring one here, but it's just
we tried to bring one here, but we just didn't really get a chance to have a right prototype to showcase and want to see what really this 3D printer does and what type of objects you can.
But next year for sure.
Yes, next year for sure.
Because
so
right
the first batch of printers went out. Any customer feedback?
Yeah, we have forums on our website.
Okay.
And, they every day. They're like calling you every day, and they're like, "Is everything okay? Is everything all right?"
Do they call it? Is Brendan there?
Oh yeah.
I want to speak
to
him.
They're always like, "Where's Brendan?" And I'm like, "No, I'm hiding away." Please send all tickets to support@piratechili.com. So I make it very clear to not put my personal email out, or else
you just get bombarded.
Yeah,
it becomes like a spam.
Yeah, that's right.
Any more questions?
Yeah. All right. Okay, let's start in product conceptualization first. The one thing that we did is we did a lot of research to see which product segments were actually picking up. And it's important to see how much you can raise in those kinds of segments. Like we were looking like, whoa, 3D printers were doing pretty well. So that should be quite all right. Like for example, if I'm making a mathematics program for children and I put it on a platform, I surely won't expect like 10 million in sales. But if I do something like really cool, like a Oya, the video game platform for stuff, and you want 10 million in sales, you can probably hit something like that. And other than that, we just did a lot of marketing to bring out the message to people that, hey, this is something cool that's coming. And you must give them a sense of loss. Like for example, if you tell them that, this is an awesome product, so people see it and they're like, oh yeah, I want to buy it. So you tell them, okay, you can buy it, and the first few that get it are going to get it much cheaper. So you as a person, you'd be like, I'm going to camp on that website and I'm going to order that thing. And it worked. It really did. Like you actually had to click on the pledge thing, key in the amount, key in your address and stuff. And this guy did it in like less than 20 seconds, our first batch. I don't know how he did it, but he was camping on that thing, like maybe refreshing like every like 10, I don't know.
Interesting.
So that's, yeah.
Gentlemen, it's the same question. Okay, so let's move to...
Thank you. I want to know how you're dealing with competition. Let me read you this. This is the article yesterday.
Okay.
And I quote, an ultra-cheap 3D printer has hit its Kickstarter. M3D.
Yes,
But I don't
I
know
know.
if everyone knows about it.
2 million in 3 days, right? Awesome, guys.
Good. So it reads here, its Kickstarter goal in just 11 minutes. And people are saying that it's the first mass market version of the technology. And just for people to know, it has raised over $1 million. Well
It's
ahead
2 now,
of
by
their,
the way.
2 now. There you go. Over $50,000 target with 28 days to go. So comments and competitive strategies.
Oh yeah,
Thanks.
I love what they're doing. It's making a 3D printer that's very simple to use and sits on your desk. I think that's really the way to go. I think that they earn quite a fair bit of money off their filament, so it's kind of walking down a Hewlett-Packard road in a sense, not saying anything. But I think that where your competitive strategy comes in is, one is timing, right? And two, your product. Like they plan to deliver in January 2015. I am not sure if they can do it on time. I hope they do, but I do not know. I mean, from the things that I just told you about certification and lead time of parts, and now they have to fulfill, like, I'm just showing an example, like 10, 20,000 orders. I have no clue. Unless they have some magical facility in the middle of nowhere, I have no clue how they're going to fulfill on time. But more importantly is the smartness of the 3D printer. Like what differentiates ours from theirs is that for us, we approach it in a more Apple style. Like an 8-year-old kid can use it. Like we didn't build something for the hackers that you can hack, you can do anything you want. For us, our focus is just on the customer, the experience when you use it. When you press print, it prints. That is our key differentiating factor between us and what they're doing. So more competition is always great because they are doing the marketing for you, right? When they become big and they get a lot of PR and stuff, then in the future you put your machine next to their machine and you get free PR. In a sense. And hopefully it's better, right? I don't know. I really hope they do something great because you learn from your competition.
Well, interesting is that the Jeremiah Oyang, who was here on Tuesday, he shared a link with me before he got here to Singapore, and it was about the makers movement here in Singapore. I was really surprised to see so many 3D printers, which are before you, and literally they really didn't have this publicity. So, do you think crowdfunding is a really great tool for bring your company and position your company and branding and everything else is a great way to...
For sure. And the reason for it is this. There's a quote I read somewhere online some time ago that they say that people don't buy from brands, people buy from people. And for crowdfunding, that is the only place where people buy from people. Like people rarely say like, oh yeah, Pirate 3D or I'm finding Pirate 3D. Most of the time because I'm the one communicating with them, so they feel like they're buying from me, right? They're buying from this guy, Brandon, sitting in the middle of nowhere. I have no clue. but people buy from people, and that connection that you build with them through these crowdfunding platforms, I think that is something that changes the face of business and how we interact with the
How amazing is this? I remember 10 years ago, it used to be very cool to go and work for a big corporation and all that stuff. And today, or buying like big, things from big brands. And now it's like it's all leading towards that customization, right? Do you think that now there's a new wave of customers, there's a new mindset that is really enabling this type of consumerism, I should say?
I think that as consumers level up the knowledge, because now, with the advent of the internet, it's more knowledge sharing, it's very open. So people become very picky of the things that they want to buy, and they become very like a connoisseur in a sense of the items that they carry, things that they use. And because of that, the small players actually stand out more, especially on crowdfunding platforms, because the works that they do, like for example, the bags that they make, the wallets, the cases, the machines, they all have this edge to it that you don't find in a very bland, something that comes from an MNC. There's a lot of personal touch that goes into it that people
Interesting. I want your honest answer. Would you?
Yeah.
Honest. All right. How many pissed off customers do you have right now?
Okay. We had a lot of pissed off customers last year when we decided to drop ABS. One of the things, because we discovered that it was not safe for the home.
Okay.
And the techies were like, what the hell, man, I'm going to put it in my garage. But we told them, look, man, there's like 3,000 other guys who have children. I mean, come on, please. And they're like, no, make 10 different machines. And we're like, we can't make 10 different machines. Make one machine, I'm sorry. Other than that, I think right now for the main production batch, maybe, I wouldn't say pissed off. A couple of them were a bit disappointed because it got smashed up at customs. But we just replaced the machines and we put out like the software patches to work together with them. I think one of the things that is great about crowdfunding is that the people who are on there know that it's not Amazon.
Exactly.
And the rest of the people remind them that it's not Amazon. They're like, this is not Amazon. You want to go to Amazon? Go to Amazon. Right? We're here for the journey, man. If you're not here for the journey, take your money back and get out
That's
of here.
it. Here's your bag.
Yeah.
Would you give an interest?
No, we didn't. And the amazing thing is that people actually have messaged me before about, some other people, and they're like, can you just pay this guy and tell him to go away? Or, can you like kick him out or something? And I was like, I can't do that. And they're like, yeah, you can. Look at the terms of service. I read out the contract for you. You can. I was like, oh, man. And then I told the guy, sorry, man, here's your money back. It's okay.
That's amazing. Well, thank you for being here. Really appreciate your time. I know you're busy. You have to deal with your angry customers. I'm just kidding. It's great to see you here, back in the stage. I just want to really come back, and hopefully next year we'll have a 3D printer, and of course, Sean, I'll get you your printer, I know for sure. He's not pissed off.
We made a lot of good improvements, so
really,
it's worth the wait.
Yeah, so we'll get those printers going for sure, but thanks for being here.
You're welcome.
Great. Awesome.